Greetings, Star Wars community. You guys know me as Mr. Reviews, and today I'm going to join Ro in reviewing the first episode of The Mandalorian that dropped on Disney Plus yesterday. You guys know what to do.
So sit on, buckle up, and hit that hyperdrive because Star Wars World Review starts now. If you're new to this channel, welcome, and I just want to let you know that we will have spoilers for The Mandalorian, so you have been warned.
With that warning out of the way, guys, let's get right into the episode. First of all, we want to let you know that we really love this episode. We enjoyed every minute of it, and we can't wait to see the next episode. But there are some things that we didn't like about the episode, and that's what we want to get out of the way first. We want to make sure that you guys know what we didn't like about the episode and what we think can be improved on for the next episode for the rest of the series as well. So one of the things that I didn't like right off the bat was the soundtrack of the episode. So I do enjoy Star Wars, the soundtracks, the way that the songs are used, they're very memorable. You hear the song and you can automatically picture the scene, or it takes you into the movie and those memories that you have of the movie. Whether it be in the animated versions or whether it be in the live action stuff, I really do enjoy the soundtracks, but in particular in this episode, I think there was kind of a miss because it's not that memorable. I really don't remember it after watching the episode already several times. I didn't like the way that it was used. I don't feel that it was very memorable as other Star Wars things. In particular, there's one scene where the Mandalorian is trying to learn to ride a blurg, and I didn't like how the song in the background was used, and it reminded me too much of the movie Rocky. It felt like I was listening to Eye of the Tiger the entire time. The scene was really short, and I didn't like it didn't feel like it was very well developed. And it just felt very out of place for me. So the soundtrack just didn't work for me in that aspect, but I do enjoy the most part of it. I just don't think it was very memorable.
As for me, one of the things I did not like was the fact that we didn't see much of a backstory for the Mandalorian. We did see some sort of a flashback in the casualties of war, but we didn't see how the Mandalorian came to be the Mandalorian, and maybe they're waiting for future episodes to show us his backstory or his upbringing, and I can't wait to see that. But I thought maybe for being the first episode and not knowing anything about the Mandalorian, maybe they would have given us a lot more than what we saw. But that was one of the things I did not like from this first episode that I wish they would have given us more is the Mandalorian's background.
Yeah, the episode felt like it was a little bit short. I think that they could have done a little bit more with expanding the scene, particularly with that scene that I was talking about the blurg. I thought that moved way too fast. Like in a matter of less than 2 minutes, he learned to ride an animal he had never ridden before, and he was an expert at it immediately. I get it. They are smart. They are warriors. They do a lot of things really quickly, but that moved too fast. And considering that this is a streaming show and you can play with time and how much length you want to make it, they could have made it a little bit longer, given us a little bit more backstory, a little bit more development, a little bit more character development. There wasn't any character development in this particular episode, which I think is going to happen over the course of the series, but it would have been nice, considering that the main focus of this particular episode was the Mandalorian, if we would have gotten a little bit more about him than just keeping him a full-out mystery. Another thing that we didn't like about the show, and something that we both agree on, is while the characters have great practical effects and we do enjoy the way that every single one of them looked, I thought it was an amazing job that they did with all the prosthetics and everything that they used on all the characters. One character in particular, which is the one that's in the very beginning, we never learned his name, but it's the one that the Mandalorian tries to collect the bounty on. It's the blue guy. He was so annoying. I get it. They were trying to go for funny. They were trying to go for a little bit, because the Mandalorian is not talking. He's not giving you any more information. He's just very quiet and very, very, very low tone. That guy just talks too much, and I think to the point where it just got annoying, and I wish they would have just ended him talking a lot sooner. It was pretty cool to see the way that the Mandalorian handled it and his attitude was, because he's trying to keep it like a bravado. He's trying to keep himself as low-key. But still, that guy just talked for too long, and I didn't like that particular character. I love the way that he looked. I love the way that the effects were used. I just didn't like the character itself. I think it went on way too long. It could have been shorter. It could have been less dialogue and given me more Mandalorian and less of that one character.
Yeah, and I know that there are going to be characters like that throughout the Star Wars universe, but I felt like they tried too hard even with his comedy. Yeah. So for me, that character just felt a little bit flat. But everything else, like, Mr. Review says, the cosmetics, the practical effects look very great on the characters itself. It's just the personality of the blue guy just wasn't or didn't sit well with me. Now we're gonna talk about some of the things that we did enjoy from the show The Mandalorian, and for me it's the throwbacks to the original trilogies. We did get to see stormtroopers or sandtroopers because they were a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
But we got to see the Mandalorian face off some of the stormtroopers, and I really enjoyed that line where he says, I like the odds, because the stormtroopers were like, there's four.
Solo.
Yeah, very Han Solo, right? Like there's 4 against 1, and you see the Mandalorian pull out his blaster and pull out that sweet rifle that you see Boba Fett using in the Christmas special. So some of the things are given to us as fans. You can say maybe fan service, but I really think it was needed to kind of draw us back to the Star Wars universe. But what are some of the things that you enjoyed?
Yeah, as far as the fan service, I think they did a good job because it wasn't too much fan service. It wasn't kind of like the Last Jedi. They tried too hard with the fan service. I can go into a whole review on that myself, on the things that I hated about The Last Jedi, but ultimately it's Star Wars. I do love it. But The Mandalorian did a very good job as far as with those throwbacks and all those things that we mentioned. One of the things that I did enjoy is when he's learned to write the blurb, how that character that was helping him out to try to find the location that he was going to. I really enjoyed that he threw out there that the Mandalorians used to write the mythosaur. And then you can just picture the picture of Boba Fett riding the mythosaur with his rifle from the Christmas special. I thought that was pretty cool. It brings you back. The throwbacks that they used were subtle enough that they threw you into reminding you that this is Star Wars. This is the Star Wars universe. It felt like part of the Star Wars universe. A lot of the cantinas and a lot of the bars areas that they were, it felt like Tatooine. It felt like those type of bars and those type of cantinas that we've seen used before. It's one thing that I liked in The Force Awakens, that the aesthetic of it, because of the fact that they were practical effects instead of CGI, like in the first 3 movies, the episodes 1, 2, and 3. I think they did a very good job of making it feel like a Star Wars show. And now we want to talk about something that we both really enjoyed about the show, and that was the Mandalorian armor. First of all, the way that he looks already looked really, really cool. But then they show you that he's improving his armor. When he used that payment that he received of that metal, and he received it, he went into the Mandalorian Den. I thought the Mandalorian Den portion was really cool because it showed us that there's more Mandalorians out there. He is the Mandalorian. He's the lone character. He's supposed to be the star of the show. But we know that there's more Mandalorians out there. And the fact that his armor is still being made, I think is pretty cool, because as we know, Mandalorians, the armor is very important to them. We may get to see what clan he's from later on in the future. I think that'll be pretty cool, because they were talking about the signet, they were talking about what his armor is going to look like, because it's still not complete. We know that he needs to finish his breastplate. We know that there are other parts of his armor that need to be completed. But the fact that it's on the way there, hopefully we get to see a complete Mandalorian armor by the end of the season, or a very complete set at least, which would make him look pretty cool.
We also enjoy the fight scene at the end. Now, obviously practical effects is a big deal in The Mandalorian, but just seeing The Mandalorian in action, we also saw one of the robots come in.
Yeah, the IG-11 robot.
Yeah, the IG-11 come in, and the functionalities of that robot. Now, I'm sure that robot, I don't know if it was CGI or probably some practical effects, but just the movements of the robot and seeing him in action is pretty cool. And the mission itself, how they both had to come together to fulfill the mission that they had in mind. I thought that was pretty neat. Seeing other bounty hunters work together, because we had never seen that before, that's pretty cool. But overall, I think that scene was well played. I don't know your thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that scene to me made me feel like the show felt like a movie itself. It was very cinematic in nature. That automatically took me into like, this scene could be straight out of one of the Star Wars movies, which was really, really cool, because it was very well choreographed. The action was like on par. All of the different dramatic elements that were added into it were pretty cool. And then there was a humor that they tried to add in there, which some people felt like it was too much, that they were trying too hard. For me, it was just enough. They weren't trying to overdo it with the humor. I like that the Mandalorian has a sense of humor as well, or made it seem like he had a sense of humor, because the robot, the IG-11 robot, kept trying to do one thing and he's telling him to stop, and it keeps on, it became like kind of an annoying thing that the robot was trying to do, and the Mandalorian is like, stop doing that, which I thought was pretty cool, because it's programmed into the robot, and I think they did a very good job with the jokes. They didn't go too far. They didn't try to push them too far. The Mandalorian never lost character as being kind of like goofy or anything like that. I thought they did a very good job with that scene. And in general, the whole rest of the show, it just felt like this proves that live action Star Wars shows actually work, that this is something that we want to see. So this gets me excited for the possibility of the Obi-Wan show. What is that going to look like? And all the different things that they may have down the line for Star Wars. While looking at some of the comments out there and some of the reviews, one of the things that I noticed is that people had trouble with the way that the show seemed very cartoony to them. They said that it felt like it was an episode like of Rebels. It felt like an episode of the Clone Wars. And the reason for that is because this episode was directed by Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni is the creator of Rebels, and he is the co-creator of the Clone Wars along with George Lucas. They did a very good job with this episode. I think Dave Filoni proved that he's got the chops to be able to direct live action. This to me means that I think that they can give him a live action show and he can do a great job with it. I don't know if he's ready for a movie just yet, because this is his entry into live action, and I think he needs to develop a little bit more, spend a little bit more time with directors that have done full action movies before he can get there, because the show did feel to me like very much so like a Rebels episode. And I love that, because Rebels is what got me into the animated universe. I enjoyed the Clone Wars, but until I saw Rebels, I didn't enjoy Clone Wars that much. Clone Wars to me now is really good, and I can't wait for the next season of Clone Wars so that we can finish off the series. But Dave Filoni does a very good job of storytelling. If you give him another live action show that he gets to write and direct, I can only imagine the type of story that he's going to tell us. Let's hope that it's for the story of Ezra and figuring out what happened to him after Rebels. I would love to see a live action Ahsoka. That would be the epitome and the greatest thing that she would want. But I think they did a very good job with the way the directing style went. I can't wait to see what the other episodes are going to look like, because I know they were directed by different directors, and if a certain scene called for a certain type of director, I can't wait to see what they did with it. I know that they're going to do a good job. They work with great directors, like Taika Waititi was in this episode as well. And if he participated in the rest of the episodes, I know we're going to get some good action out of this. And you know that Jon Favreau did a good job. He's done a good job with his movies. He's done a good job with this show. He cares about Star Wars. I can't wait to see more about the directing style that it's going to take this series in.
And the last thing we want to mention, and it's super spoilery, so you have been warned, because this is the end of the episode. And there it goes. Well, at the end of the episode, we saw a baby that kind of looked like Yoda's race.
We don't know what race Yoda is. They still haven't identified it, but in all essence, it was a baby Yoda.
Yeah. So we're just calling it Baby Yoda. And to me, that was like, holy cow, there's actually another creature that looks exactly like Yoda. Now, obviously, that's not Yoda, but it looks exactly like Yoda, and we hadn't seen that before. So I was super excited to see what the Mandalorian was gonna do, because it kind of looked like he was regretting, in a way, not that he was regretting his job, but maybe there was gonna be a change of heart, because you see him kind of playing with the baby, or doing that little thing with his finger. So now I'm super intrigued. I'm super invested for the next episode, which is gonna come out.
It's supposed to come out this Friday, so this week we get 2 episodes. So I'm assuming that maybe the series is going to be every Friday. So they're going to be an episode this Friday, and then the episode won't come out until next week again. I don't believe it'll be Monday. It'll probably drop on Fridays. But since the series opened up quickly, I'm pretty sure that they're trying to get the paces of what the episodes are going to be. But yeah, Baby Yoda, I can't wait to see how much money Disney's going to make from us when we have to buy those little Baby Yoda dolls, because that thing was super cute. I think it was a huge surprise. It kind of shocking to see that, since we've never actually seen another Yoda or another one of his species around in the Star Wars universe. It'll be cool to see. Maybe they tell us where they come from. In particular, they say that this baby, although was a baby, he was about 50 some years old already, and then the robot says, well, some races age differently,
which we know that.
Yeah, and they say that he could live on for centuries. So we never actually knew how old Yoda was. We never actually knew how long his race can live. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes, and maybe his particular race is like really high on midichlorians. Yes, I said midichlorians. Maybe it's a whole new beginning for a possibilities of a new Jedi Order or something like that. So the implications are a lot just with the one image that they showed us there. So we'll see. I'm excited for where the show is going to be going from here on in.
But thank you everyone for watching the spoiler review of The Mandalorian, and I want to thank Mr. Reviews for collaborating with me on this project. But do you have anything else to say?
Thank you guys for letting me be here, and I hope you guys enjoyed our review of The Mandalorian. We will be reviewing episode 2 when it drops on Friday. You guys will be seeing us work together a lot more on more videos, and you'll see me on some of the solo videos that will be coming up. That I got some things that I want to review from the Star Wars universe. I hope you guys enjoy them, and I look forward to being part of the channel more actively.
Yes, and don't forget to comment down on the section below on your thoughts on The Mandalorian if you guys already watched this episode. But with that, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and like always, can't wait to guys have it back here at Star Wars World Reviews.